So I made a video with my GoPro, and it was like an hour and a half long or so. It was me pulling this thing at the junkyard. I haven't watched it yet, and I don't know if I'm going to put it up because it's super long, and I don't know if anybody wants to watch me do that. And the camera kept falling over and all kinds of stuff. I'll see if I can't get some photos off of it or something like that, and just do like a little slideshow video showing it. But anyway, I'm going to start the teardown. I already took this cap off. All that's on the other video at the junkyard. Right now, I just got a pitman arm puller, and I'm going to rip that nut off and pop the pitman arm off after I mark it so I know which way it's on, and see about pulling that apart. Got to order a new bearing for the upper column. Got to order a bearing kit for this, which is a Corvette kit. This is out of a 53 Bel Air. The Corvette kit comes with all the bearings. The 53 and 54 Bel Air, like sedan car rebuild kits do not come with the bearings. So, something to think about. I didn't realize that until I started doing some research. So, anybody who needs to rebuild a 53, 54 column, you're not going to find, you got to get the Corvette kit, but it's only like 80 bucks or something like that, so it's not a huge deal. It's going to cost me less to get the bearing kit for this than it did to convert my the front hubs to roller bearings. So let me go ahead and get this rolling. So I don't have an impact socket for it. I was hoping I did, but I don't. So I have a, size is this, 32 millimeter. It is the perfect size. Hopefully it doesn't explode and take my eyes out, but we're about to find out. All right, baby, here we go. Uh-oh. I had it crooked. This thing's covered in grease, man. It's pretty nasty. So I don't want to get grease all over my table. So I was trying to be clean, but I don't think that's going to happen. Make sure y'all are still seeing what I'm seeing. Kind of. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. Probably not recommended to do what I just did, but it didn't crack, and it popped right off of there, actually. So, can't argue with that. This gigantic lock washer off. I mean, this thing moves like a 6-inch sweep. I don't know what they expect. Now the fun part. $27016 from AutoZone. 15 bucks. It's a rental tool, so I can get my 15 bucks back, but I might just keep it. I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna figure it out here in a minute. According to the computer, it's forged and all kinds of stuff. I almost bought one at Harbor Freight yesterday, but I said, well, this is the first time I've ever actually needed one, so I'm not gonna waste my money at Harbor Freight buying one when I can just rent one. Make sure it's clean so it pulls straight. Alright, now let me see what happens here. I don't think I have. The only impact sockets I have are what came with this kit. 19. Is that right? 3/4. So it takes a 3/4. And find out how it goes. I might have to heat it. I don't know yet. We're gonna find out right now. I might have to put it on the right, pull the right direction. I wasn't thinking about the fact that I'm tightening. Jesus, that was fantastic. All right, let's try this again. Ignore that part of the video. You know what I did? I forgot to mark which way was which. Darn it. Didn't I just say I was going to do that before I pulled it? Well, I don't know. I guess I'll just have to get it center treble. That should be easy enough. I just don't know where it goes on, I just don't know where it goes. If the pitman arm goes straight down, straight out, how it goes. Darn it, man. If only, let's see. Okay, there are marks. Okay, there we go. So it was like this right here. Right? Isn't that how it was? It was. Alright. Thank goodness. Okay, be right back. So here's my plan. Got a Dremel with a cutoff wheel. Swing this around a little bit. Now I'm just going to mark it right on it. Just like that. Just beep. Just so I know. Line up the mark with the mark. You know what? I'm going to do it. So it's got keyways cut into it. I'll show you in a sec. Oh, it's already marked. Okay. I think, or somebody else marked it already. One or two. I'm going to mark it again. I don't care. No mistake in that. There we go. Now is the nut screw back on? That's the question. Shouldn't have affected it. You wouldn't think, but you never know. Unless I just destroyed it when I used the impact on it and just ripped it off there. Let's run this on and take it back off real quick, just to make sure we're good. This was still hooked up to the steering linkage and everything, so. Alright, there's that. Now I probably got to use that pitman arm puller again. All right, and there we have it. So now I've got a mark on here, and a mark on here. Now these keyways I was talking about, if you look in there, so you got splines and then a flat spot. Splines, flat spot. Splines, flat spot. Splines, flat spot. So there's 4 of them. So it can only go on one of 4 ways. So I just know mark to mark, there's a flat spot. Look at the mark, there's a flat spot. So you try and put it on like this, it's not going to go on. Get it on like that, it goes right on. Done. So that's that. Now I'll toss that to the grass. Yeah, this is going to be nasty when I start working on this. I'm assuming it's going to come right out, but you never know. All right. And this thing is... I popped the bearing out at the junkyard because the bearing was frozen. It wasn't letting it turn. As soon as I popped the bearing out, it turned perfectly free. Looks great inside. The bearings fell out and I lost them. There's a bearing up here that you'll see when I pull it apart. There was a bearing in the end cap. That's the one I lost. There's a bearing here, needle bearing. These are roller bearings like wheel bearings. That's a needle bearing. Of course, that's where you fill the grease. There's a seal. I don't know where the seal is. On Chevy Talk, there's a write-up on how to rebuild these things. That's what I looked at. I guess there's a seal. That might be the seal right there, actually. I think that's the seal. No seal here. There's a paper gasket that goes between this and this. Between this housing right here. This is the adjuster to move the thing that I can't think of the name of, move it back and forth right. Let me see if I can unscrew this behind. There we go. That was fairly easy. So this has a lock nut, which I didn't realize, and I just laid it on the ground and put a breaker bar on it. Oh man, it's nasty. So the bearing goes in there. Fell out as soon as I pulled it apart. That's what it looks like in the inside of there, and all this is going to be seen when I tear it apart. But for the meantime, I'm going to leave this alone because I don't want that grease all over my patio table. You know what I mean? So I'm going to seal her up there. There we go. All right. Got to tear it apart. Oh, you know what I forgot to get when I got that pivot arm puller? I forgot to get brake cleaner. So I guess when I take that back, I'm not going to keep that. When I take that back, I'll buy some brake cleaner so I can clean the inside of this out. The goal is to reuse the races. We'll see how that goes. But apparently this is a huge upgrade over the 51 steering box. That's what they say, if nothing else, because it uses bearings and it's easier to rebuild. I don't have any idea. It cost me $75 to get this column from the junkyard. So, it better be worth it.